back now with new details in the Trayvon Martin case. George Zimmerman's attorneys appeared on TV this morning and repeatedly claimed he acted in self-defense when he shot Trayvon Martin. They even went so far as to compare Zimmerman's injuries to shaken baby syndrome.
We're familiar with the shaken baby syndrome. You shake a baby, the brain shakes around inside the skull, you can die. When someone's pounding your head on the ground and you've already had your nose broken, you can be in reasonable fear for great bodily harm, which is what the Florida statute calls for.
Meantime, major demonstrations are planned this weekend with protesters promising to occupy Sanford on Easter. Joining me now live from Sanford is Joyanne Reed, MSNBC contributor and managing editor of thegrio.com. Joyanne, any reaction from the Martin family attorneys about what we heard this morning from the Zimmerman attorney?
Well, not as yet. I think that the family of Trayvon Martin, they're still processing the information that came in yesterday. There are letters coming from the family defending George Zimmerman, and that was the latest response that I got from them. So nothing on this particular thing yet.
Joanne, the Reverend Al Sharpton says that he's going to be camping out with the protesters at City Hall this weekend. Again, we're talking about occupying Sanford over this. So what can you tell us more about what's planned?
Well, we have a group of students that's coming from Bethune-Cookman College. Now, Bethune-Cookman has actually a history here in Sanford. Mary McLeod Bethune actually was in this area frequently, and there was a high school that used to be associated with Bethune-Cookman College that was here in Sanford. So there is an affinity there. So the students are supposed to walk over the course of the next 3 days, picking up people along the way. Their plan is to stay in churches overnight and then continue the march throughout the weekend and wind up here in Sanford on Sunday.
Tell us, though, about the 10th. April 10th is the date that the grand jury is supposed to convene. The special prosecutor, there was thoughts that she may come out with an arrest warrant prior to that, but does it look like it's going to boil down to the grand jury having to convene for any action to be taken?
Well, here's the thing, Thomas. The April 10th date was the grand jury date that was set by the previous state attorney, Norman Wolfinger. When he recused himself from the case, technically that was his grand jury plan, so that is no longer operative, and Angela Corey is not bound to it. So what we're understanding here is she could either, if she wanted to keep that date, I suppose she could do it, but it's also likely she could just make a decision on her own without a grand jury. That's what we're waiting to find out.
And Joanne, though, isn't it something that the people of Sanford, certainly something that the media has been reporting, that the city of Sanford needed to wait until April 10th to have any type of conclusion come of this. So basically, if nothing happens by April 10th, is that a good sign or a bad sign that nothing will happen in terms of an arrest for George Zimmerman?
I don't think that that's really conclusive, Thomas, because that April 10th date was so tied to the previous grand jury. Angela Corey essentially said that she was starting from scratch, that she was completely starting over with her own investigation. So I really don't think that she's necessarily bound to that date of the 10th. But people here have hinged on that date as sort of a date when things were expected to go forward because of the previous grand jury. So I think emotionally down here, for the people who are supporters of Trayvon Martin's family, they're hoping there's a conclusion by then. But I'm not sure that that's legally binding on Angela Corey.
Joyanne Reed, Joyanne, great to see you today. Thank you.